back to the channel. It has been a hot minute. I have not done a video for about 3 months. The reason being, was waiting for this bad boy to turn up. 2024 F900GS. Put a deposit down on it, and it was about 3 months till I got it. So I've had it a couple of weeks now. Done maybe 450, 500 kilometers, and predominantly off-road and in some pretty sketchy conditions. Took it up to the snow. That was fun. So yeah, stick around and I'll go through my thoughts on the 2024 F900GS as an owner. So, what do I think of the F900GS after 500k's and riding it off-road? Predominantly it's pretty good. It's bloody fantastic. I don't have a whole heap of experience with adventure bikes. I had the V-Strom 1000 and I thought it was fantastic, but I didn't really have much of a measuring stick. I'd rode a couple of 890Rs just here and there with some friends, and you know, but you never really get time to get used to them and make them your own, work out their little nuances and what you can get away with. So the V-Strom is a fantastic bike. You know, this thing isn't light years ahead of the V-Strom. As far as soaking up big hits, yeah, it is light years ahead, but if the roads aren't terrible, there's not much difference really if you're on it. You just got to ride around the V-Strom's weaknesses, whereas this, you can just charge into things a bit more. Still a 220 kilo bike, so don't get too carried away. But yeah, so the suspension on this, fantastic, bloody fantastic. It's, some people have said it's harsh. Yeah, potentially, but you know, I'm not susceptible to those little niggles that people complain about. I kind of think they're a bit soft sometimes. Oh, the seat's too hard. Oh, the bars vibrate. No, who gives a shit? You're out motorcycling. If you want to be comfortable, get in your car. You know, as long as you can get into positions that you need to be in for off-road riding, get into the attack positions, and you know, and you can get the bike to fit you. That's all that really matters. You get a sore ass, put up with it, or get off for 5 minutes. I don't have an issue with the seat. I don't have an issue with any seat. Vibrations, yeah, I know that vibration, that real high frequency, and make your hands numb. Generally that's just the person holding on too tight as well, you know. But this thing has no vibration. Wind protection, once again, who gives a shit? It's a motorcycle. You know, if you don't want to be in the wind, get in the car. I'm sounding pretty negative here, aren't I? But just trying to, you know, give you a bit where I sit with my opinions when I say, oh, this is good or that's good, you know. I am comfortable on it. I'm no more uncomfortable than any other bike I've ever ridden. Some things do it slightly better than others, but at the end of the day, it's a motorcycle. You're out in the elements, and they make power, they make heat, they make noise, they vibrate. You know, you're sitting on a plank. Yeah. So that said, after waffling on, what are the things I don't like about this bike? There isn't much at all. The only gripe that I've had is the subframe is the widest point. So when you stand up in the attack position and you want to grip the bike, the subframe connects with your calf, and that's where you're gripping the bike. You've got to sort of have an awkward pose to dig your knees into the tank, you know, so you can grip onto the bike properly when you're accelerating and not go out the back door. I really sort of struggled with that, so I was riding compromised. Anyway, the workaround for now is I've put some cheap skateboard wheels on where the pillion pegs go. They used to go, I've removed them, and they let me lock on a little easier. I still think that maybe a wider seat or something, just to grip at a higher point would be nice. Yeah, so that's the only negative that I've found about the bike. So anti-straps, panniers and racks. These are a lightweight rack, so they will bend in a decent crash, but you can straighten them out. But they're lightweight, so they're a bit of a sacrificial part, I guess, which is better than bending the subframe. Subject to opinion, of course. Bags are 35 litres, expandable. Remove that resonator box, makes a good note now. Hepco and Becker crash bars, upper and lower. A fuel range. So I've gone with a Giant Loop 8 litre, just for a bit of relief and fuel anxiety. We'll see how it actually goes. So I used 10.5 litres to do 200 k's, so I had 4 litres basically left in the tank, and it was telling me I only had 37 kilometres till empty, which, yeah, anyway, things will get better, I reckon. And as I was saying earlier, I had to put these on, just some cheap skateboard wheels. I couldn't work out why I was struggling to lock onto the bike. I moved the bars forward. I was thinking about getting rid of the risers, but I've worked it out. This is wider than the seat, so effectively you're gripping onto the bike too far down, and you've got too much leverage when you're accelerating, trying to ride standing up, to throw you off the back. So I've put these on. These will definitely help. If you ride with knee braces, it probably won't be such an issue because you'll be wider in the knee to grip the tank. But yeah, so still having some teething problems around that. Yeah, anyway, we will go for a spin and talk about it a bit more. The Peru 4s, no complaints about them on road or off road. Actually a pretty good all rounder. I've run motos, tractionators and rallies. That's my sort of go-to tyres, and they do give up a fair bit of on-road performance. But yeah, these don't seem to give up too much off-road compared to the motos. Yeah, and I guess like anything in motorcycling, you just want predictability, and these feel predictable, especially in these snotty conditions. Why I went with the BMW. Well, it wasn't so much that the BMW was necessarily better than any of the others. It was more about dealer network, brand reputation, and locality to me. You know, my heart was going, go the 890, but just too many horror stories, and that plays on my mind. This 5-year warranty, and I've had BMW road bikes for a long time. Not that I've had too many things go wrong with them, but when I have, it's never a drama. Actually, here's a perfect example. I was talking to a guy 2 nights ago, and he's got a K1200 road bike. It's 16 years old with 100,000 Ks on it, and the fuel pump shit itself just last week, and BMW replaced it under goodwill. How good's that? Fitting the Hepco and Becker crash bars, the engine protection ones were very fiddly, but the upper ones, really simple. I was umming and ahhing whether to go with them because, you know, you're adding more weight, And BMW's focus was on shedding weight, but at the end of the day, there's still a 200 plus, over 200 kilo bike. You know it. You know it when you're trying to move it around the shed. You don't really know it when you're riding it. Even when things go pear-shaped, you don't really know it. Unless you drop it and then you got to pick it up. Man, today was supposed to be relatively clear. It was a rubbish day. Yeah, there's probably not much more I can say. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments below, and I'll try and answer them. And I'll do another video on it, probably at about 5,000 or 10,000.